Merry Meet. Today I'm going to show you how I make my water spell candle, my water incense blend, loose leaf, and my water oil blend for my Elementum celebration in January. With the 12 months in the year and having 8 Sabbats, there are 4 months left over, and those 4 months I use to work with and do magic and rituals with a particular element. For January, since we are in winter, I'm working with the element of water. So for the spell candle, I have this beeswax sheet, and I am going to put links to where you can get supplies in the description box below. These beeswax sheets you can get online. They come in a usually 11 by 8 size, and this is blue that I'm working with today. I already went ahead and cut off a piece. You can just use regular scissors and cut along the sheet. They're very thin, and have a little piece to make our candle. You also may want to leave out your beeswax sheet so that it can warm up in a warm room. You can also hold it between your hands and warm it up that way. Just make it warm enough that it's pliable, so it should start to be able to bend and move without breaking and splitting. Then you know that it's pliable and that it's ready. I'm just going to warm this up a little bit more. All right, now it's good. And all of the beeswax should come with cotton wicks. You can also buy these or buy some cotton string for candle making to work with. And we are also, to make our candle, going to be first using some Cobeba Balsam essential oil. I am just going to put a few drops on my beeswax. And you'll have to be aware of the viscosity of the oils you're working with. Some are thicker than others and take a little bit longer to come out, whereas some are very liquidy and come out extremely fast. So just something to learn about your oils. This Cobeba Balsam is kind of in the middle. Takes a little bit for it to come out, but then once it comes out, it comes out. And you can see, since the honeycomb texture of the beeswax, the oil is sticking into the grooves. I'm just going to go ahead and use my finger and work the oil into the wax. And I'm doing this because I like to work with herbs, essential oils, and crystals in my practice. And so I like to combine as many of those as I can into the items that I make for ritual, as well as in my rituals. I'm just going to put that in there. And I am, of course, working with color blue for water. And Cobeba Balsam is a very watery, kind of coastal forest scent to me. It reminds me of the Oregon coast and has just a lovely kind of watery smell to it. So I associate it personally with water. And when I'm putting the essential oils on the candle, we're focusing on infusing it with the element of water. And same with the herbs that we're going to use. I am going to be putting some Irish moss and some kelp onto the candle. Just a little bit to infuse the properties of the herbs and plants into the candle. Of course, these are both types of seaweeds. Whoops, I apologize about that. I have my spoons that I'll be working with to get my herbs out. Both of these are seaweed. Irish moss is a type of seaweed, and then of course kelp is a seaweed. Just going to move those around a little bit so they're even. And then I'm going to put my wick On the very edge of the candle, I make sure that it goes all the way down to the bottom, but not all the way through. I don't want my wick to stick out on the bottom. And I'm going to squish the wick into the wax. It helps it to stick. You do want to put it at the edge so that when you roll it, you don't have a bunch of empty space. So now I'm going to roll up the candle. And of course I added the herbs of kelp and Irish moss because they associate with water and the ocean. And I'm going to press down as I'm rolling this so that I get all of the wax to stick together. And then I like to take this seam that you see here and just squish it in a bit so it really seals, and kind of reform it a little bit so that it is circular. I do like to pinch the ends so that the oil and herbs don't fall out of the bottom. And there you go. Your little beeswax candle for the Elementum Ritual of Water. And then I have a little candle holder here, and you can just stick it right inside the candle holder. If you cut your sheets small enough like I did, they will easily fit into these little spell candle holders. And there we have it. There is our spell candle for our water elementum. So next, we are going to, well, one thing I do want to mention actually is I also, as I said, like to add a crystal energy to the candle. Of course, you can't add crystals into the candle because in this form, they will just burn and crack and break. I do have a piece of fluorite that I just like to place next to the crystal when I am working with it. So I'll have the crystal burning on the altar, and I'll have the candle burning on the altar, and I'll have the crystal around the candle. So I'm just going to put that candle and the fluorite crystal next to it. And again, fluorite associates with water. And this is my personal opinion. So as I've always said in my videos, the way that I'm showing you how I make items and how I practice and my beliefs and my spirituality, they're all my opinion. I'm very intuitive based with my magic, and this is just intuitively my opinion of what I'm associating to water. So now we are going to make our Elementum water incense. This is a loose leaf incense. I'm going to work with my mortar and pestle to grind up these herbs that we're working with. And we are going to, again, be adding some Irish moss, and I'm just making a small batch of incense to work with. Then I'm going to add some kelp. Next, I'm going to add some chamomile, because chamomile to me associates to water with the energies of tea making. And that is the same for peppermint that we have here. I also associate peppermint with water because of its ability to be made into a tea. And our last herb is motherwort. Wort being an old-fashioned word for herb. And this is the motherwort. And I'm going to add a little bit of that. And I am adding motherwort because motherwort to me associates to the mother And mothers have, you know, their womb and the water in the womb to keep the baby healthy and procreate. So I associate motherwort with that kind of idea of the procreation in the womb of the mother. And finally, what we're going to add is some myrrh resin. And I always add some resin to my incense because, whoops, that's why I was holding it, because they will allow your blend, especially a loose leaf incense blend, they will allow it to burn up a lot easier. You always want to add some type of resin to a loose leaf incense so that it burns really well. The resin will catch fire and then the incense will be able to burn from the smoldering resin. So now we have that, I'm just going to use my pestle to break up that myrrh. And also to mix up my herbs. All right. Now that we have that made, I have my incense bowl here that I am going to add our herbal blend to. And there we go. There is our incense blend for the elementum of water. And I am also going to add this crystal to the blend, and this is, I believe this is a blue aragonite. Honestly, when I bought this, they said it was aquamarine, but I know that that's not true, and so I looked it up, and I'm pretty sure this is blue aragonite. It could also be a type of calcite, or not calcite, quartz. However, it associates with me to water. I get a really good water energy from it. It kind of looks like ice, kind of similar to an ice quartz, and I associate water with it, so I thought it would be a great addition to the incense blend. I just put the crystal on top of the incense blend and let its energies infuse into the incense blend, but when I am ready to burn the incense blend, I will burn it on a charcoal disc outside, and I will remove the crystal from the bowl, and then I will sprinkle the incense into the bowl that has the lit charcoal disc to burn the loose leaf incense. And I also will take the incense and sprinkle some onto the crystal grid that I'm going to show you later and into our intention bag. So have some uses for our incense than just burning it. That is our incense blend. And finally, we have our oil blend. For our oil blend, I have these cute little vials that I got. They are so tiny. And I got these because I only wanted a little tiny vial to work with for my rituals. I didn't want to have to worry about having a bunch of oil left over. So I bought these cute little tiny vials. They come with a little cap. They do come with these little dropper tops. I'm not going to put this in because I like to pour my oil into my oil burner and then anoint it onto myself. I'll just take my finger and just shake it to anoint myself, and also to get onto my fingers to anoint my candle, to dress my candle. But they do come with this, so I wanted to let you know. They also do come with a little seal that you put on the cap so that the essential oil doesn't get all over the cap, because some essential oils can erode. And finally, I do have this tiny little funnel that I'm going to be working with to fill up the bottle. So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to put that cap right into there. There we go. Oops. And now I am going to be working with essential oils of, again, the Cobeba Balsam. But I'll mostly be using this oil because I just love the smell of it, and it does just remind me of the Oregon coast. And when I think of water, I think of the coast and the ocean, and the Oregon coast just really associates that to me. I also do associate water with obviously the rivers and creeks around here and rain. I really do love the coast and the ocean. So I am going to try and add about 15 drops of Cobeba Balsam to this. Probably one more. Okay. And then I'm going to add some frankincense. Frankincense and myrrh do associate with water, and I also like the smell of frankincense. It is kind of a light, kind of watery smell. And as you can see, frankincense is a lot more viscous. It's a lot more liquidy than the Cobeba Balsam. I added about 5 or 6 drops. I'm going to go ahead and just take out my funnel, and I'm going to smell the blend, make sure it's what I want. Have it almost halfway full, so I'm just going to add a few more drops of Cobeba Balsam. The frankincense is just a little bit strong. Probably add like 6 more drops of Cobeba. Okay. That frankincense is really strong, but that is okay. Just gonna add more Cobeba. Probably shouldn't have added so much frankincense. Got ahead of myself. And with my oil blends, I like to burn it during ritual, whereas the incense I will burn after ritual outside, just because charcoal discs are a bit difficult to burn inside with all the smoke. You can also melt some beeswax in your oil burner and then sprinkle some of your incense, if they're powdery enough, into the beeswax, and the beeswax will slowly, since it becomes liquefied, it's hot, and it will burn the incense. That's much better. That's what I like. Okay, well, we almost have it all the way full, but if you don't have it all the way full just yet, you can use a carrier oil to fill it up the rest of the way. I am using this sweet almond oil, and I'm just going to fill it up. Okay, there we go. And there we have our blend. Go ahead and put the cap on. Give it a nice little shake. That's a little bottle, you actually don't have to shake it that much. And then I'll go ahead and open it back up and give it a smell. Ah, that's a lovely water smell, lovely water blend. And there we have it. We have our spell candle, our oil blend, and our incense with our crystal. Oh, and our fluoride, of course. And that is what we have, our elementum for water, spell candle, oil blend, and incense blend. Thank you for watching. Have a good day and a good night. Blessed be, and merry meet again.